Former Senator Alan Simpson had a warning for members of the House Budget Committee saying, quote, "If you are enthralled to Grover Norquist, this country hasn't got a prayer." Well, Simpson sees Norquist as the obstacle to a bipartisan solution to the deficit. Norquist is the president of Americans for Tax Reform, and his bottom line is this: in any budget deal, taxes should not go up. Grover Norquist is joining us from our Washington bureau this morning. Welcome to In Business. I want to give you a chance to respond to that comment from former Senator Simpson, and also that from another Deficit Commission member, Senator Coburn, who said that you're all talk, no substance when it comes to providing a solution. How do you respond?
Well, two things. Both Mr. Coburn and Mr. Simpson misunderstand the problem. The problem is too much spending. Raising taxes does not reduce spending. It facilitates spending. It enables spending. So, of course, if the problem is too much spending, raising taxes is a mistake. It's counterproductive. The Democrats, Obama and the Democrats in the House and Senate, they want to raise taxes so they can spend more. That's not what the American people want. That's certainly not what taxpayers want. And the Republican leadership in the House and the Senate, Speaker Boehner and Leader McConnell, have both been very clear they will not allow any tax increase, period. Mr. Simpson and Mr. Coburn can pretend they have an argument with me. They have an argument with reality.
They also have an argument over whether changes in the tax code, closing of tax loopholes, is the same thing as a tax hike. It sounds like you view any kind of change in tax policy as a hike.
No, of course not. We're Americans for Tax Reform. We were founded to help pass the 1986 Tax Reform Bill. We have endorsed Paul Ryan's effort to reduce marginal tax rates to 25% and broaden the base in a revenue-neutral manner. However, the alternative minimum tax, and that's what these people are talking about doing, setting up a giant alternative minimum tax which will sweep all deductions and credits and reduce their value in order to give the government more money to spend. If you don't think the alternative minimum tax is a tax, then Coburn and Obama are your guys.
I mean, clearly some of your arguments fall on some ears of people sympathetic to not wanting their taxes to go up. So few people do. But Bloomberg Government, BGov, part of this company, ran the numbers. And in their latest study, it shows that without tax increases, lawmakers would have to cut spending by $5 trillion, or 13% a year by 2020, in order to reduce debt to just 60% of GDP, as recommended by the Commission. So with that in mind, how do you close a gap without seeing some form of additional revenue coming into the government?
Okay. The problem isn't the deficit. The problem is total spending.
So
giving
what do you
the government
cut, then?
More money just helps spending. Well, I think if you start by looking at the Paul Ryan budget, which the House has voted for, there were 40 votes for it in the Senate. Obama's plan to increase spending $9 trillion got 0 votes. So we're moving in the direction of Paul Ryan's proposal to move all welfare benefits, block grant them to the states, as we did back with the aid to families with dependent children, and we need to claw back all of the overspending that Obama, Reid, and Pelosi did in the last 4 years. They really ramped up spending. All we have to do is take off the table the bailouts and the wasteful spending they did in the last 4 years, and you're a long way towards getting to reducing spending.
You're getting there, but you're not there exactly. I mean, you still have to go further than the Ryan plan in order to get to these goals of reducing debt to 60% of GDP. I mean, with those kind of numbers that I threw out at you from Bloomberg Government, that's equivalent to cutting education, energy, housing, Homeland Security, and the Justice Department 2 years in a row. So you've got to go beyond Ryan to get to that.
Okay, first of all, why would I care what Obama's commission set as a goal? They're the guys who've come close to bankrupting the country with their spending. The nerve of the Obama Commission to tell us what our goals ought to be in reducing the damage that they've done to the economy. Millions of people are out of job because Obama and the Democrats have wasted all this money in stimulus and bailout to labor unions and to public sector unions. We need to stop doing that, and the Ryan plan gets us on the path towards that. The Obama plan takes spending up $9 trillion. Why would you quote Obama to me on how we need to fix this problem?
I wasn't quoting Obama to you, but I was quoting
the Obama Commission is what you were quoting. The
right,
Obama
and then Bloomberg
set that
data,
target.
And then Bloomberg data
right.
trying to crunch those numbers. So, but
starting with the Obama target.
Okay, well, you're not giving me your own target, so I got to work with something here. But by
the
August,
Ryan target is fine.
The debt ceiling being raised, do you foresee this debate playing out until the 11th hour? I mean, do you just wholeheartedly oppose the lifting of the debt ceiling?
What I support what Speaker Boehner has put forward, which I think is extremely reasonable and completely achievable, and that is if President Obama wants to raise the debt ceiling by $2 trillion to facilitate his spending binge of the last couple of years, he has to offer $2 trillion in reduced spending, not tax increases, reductions in spending. If he can only do $1 trillion of it, then he can have an extension of the debt ceiling for $1 trillion. He has to pay dollar for dollar spending cuts, real spending cuts, for any dollar of debt ceiling increase. That, I think, is an extremely reasonable thing to put forward, and I believe that the Obama people at the end of the day, kicking and screaming, will agree.
All right. Thanks for making your case. Grover Norquist joining us on InBusiness.